I believe we are recording. Yeah. Hey, what's up, guys? It's the Vinny Rock Podcast. I got my boy Banks with me today, and we're going to talk about a subject that has been going crazy on the internet. But first, let me hit these sponsors. I'm actually a little bit more prepared today.
It's about damn time.
You know, people are complaining that you don't talk in the microphone.
Oh, that I don't?
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
That's what I do, though.
That's what you do.
I'm a professional radio broadcaster.
You know what it is? It's the acoustics in here that probably throws it.
Oh, it may be.
The acoustics in here suck.
Well, in a more casual setting, I probably let my head drift more naturally.
Yeah.
I know the last one was tough, though, too, with Johnny, because
Johnny
was sitting across the other side of the table, and I would talk to him and talk over this way, and I was definitely off the mic. Yeah, for sure.
Fucking Johnny.
Johnny, what a shitbag.
He's gonna have to bring in his own microphone.
Love you, Johnny.
All right, guys.
Wish you were here, Johnny.
Wish you were here, Johnny. Temple 57. Temple 57 still hasn't given me the information of they did a merger with another company. I believe it's called TNG, the North Group. The North Group is another contracting company doing stuff all over the world, dude. Really cool stuff, actually. Some stuff we can't talk about, which is real badass.
As cool stuff as you can get.
Yeah, as cool as you can get.
Talk about.
Exactly. And so they did a merger. It's still TNG, but now it's Temple North Group. And so you guys interested, so you can still check out Temple 57. Hit them up if you're looking for some contract work. I know there's a lot of veterans out there that like to get into contract work. There's guys right now that are probably looking for jobs that are highly qualified to be a personal guard or a carrying, what do they call it, on-duty carry, right?
Yeah.
Security for someone. If you guys are interested in a job like that, go hit up Temple 57. I'm telling you, this is a family-owned business. The guys who own this are super solid people. They've done a lot of protection for some great people out there in this world. And so, like I said, if you guys are looking for a job, looking for some work in the contract world, hit up Temple 57. If you guys have any questions or having trouble getting a hold of them, hit me up and I'll get that to you. GMR Gold. Have you got any gold yet?
I don't have any gold yet. It's on my list of things. It's on my wish list.
Your wish list.
Because they do some, he's got some, pirate coins, and I'm a geek about that stuff.
There's some dope ones that just came out,
Some of the pirate coin stuff that he's got, like the pieces of 8 and some of the reproduction pieces.
Yes.
I love that stuff.
Dude, I know. I saw it the other day. I was like, damn, I hope that one of those comes in my next box. You know what I mean? But I got to
sign up for the subscription service as well.
Yeah, that's what it is. The bullion box.
Yeah.
It's dope, dude. There's a 100, a 200, and I believe it's a 300. And so $300 a month, you get your $300 pretty much worth and more. Sometimes it's $500 worth inside of a $300 box. So it's pretty cool. We got a bunch of silver dollars the other day, and the kids were going crazy. They were like, is this real? I was like, yes, silver. Legit. Have some fun with it. I don't know. We're having fun as a family with it, so I'm just going to keep the subscriptions going. GMR Gold, thanks for sponsoring the podcast. You guys check them out on Instagram, GMR Gold. You can also check out their bullion box, BULLION box. Check them out. If you guys want to go online and check them out, it's gmrgold.com. They even buy and sell, so check that out.
The Insta Live videos are great, too. If you just want to learn about the market and what they're doing.
Charlie gets down.
Watch the Instagram Live videos. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, that's Charlie, man. He goes live on Instagram, and he gives all the explanation about any questions you have about gold. So if you guys are just questioning it, go ask questions to Charlie himself when he does a live feed. It's pretty awesome. Core Medical Group. Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, down 13 pounds.
Are you?
Down 13 pounds. I'm super pumped on it. The biggest problem I've ever had in my entire life is diet. It's not about fitness, right? Like I can get addicted to fitness.
Fitness burrito in my mouth is about how I treat it.
I love that. I tell you what, we're eating dinner a lot, and I'm pissed off because I'm watching their foods and I'm watching mine. But I'm actually cooking my own meals when it comes to dinner time, and so I don't cook bad. I'm actually a pretty good cook, so I'm pretty happy with it. Christy's actually like, you know what, I'm thinking about jumping on your plan because she's like, man,
down 13 pounds is legit.
Down 13 pounds, dude, and I plan to go down hopefully another 15, and then I'm going to really start doing all the lifting I want. I just want to get my shoulders and chest developed where I'm happy.
So you can get that swole look?
Yeah, I used to have a nice shoulders, round shoulders that I feel comfortable. I wear a shirt and it feels good, and that's what I'm looking to try and get back to. I think it's going to help me in the acting world as well, try and get some stuff. But, I got to give credit to Core Medical Group, man. It's really gotten my hormones back in line, so it can happen. This is without lifting. I'm not lifting a regular schedule. I'm doing boxing 3 times a week, and that's really the most physical activity I'm doing. In the boxing classes at Legends Boxing, and that's just a free plug because I love them, we're doing like a CrossFit class. You know what I mean? There's some push-ups in there. There's some squats, some burpees. That is all the workout I'm doing, and I've lost 13 pounds. It's all diet and freaking hormones. My hormones are working. Yeah, dude, I'm super pumped. You guys check them out. Core Medical Group. Hit me up if you have questions with them. If you have any questions, they can deliver directly to you anywhere in the United States. You can get your blood test anywhere in the United States. It is one of the most convenient and also the most cost-effective. Cost-effective or efficient? What do you say?
I think it's probably a bit of both.
Bit of both.
It's effective and efficient.
And efficient. Fuck it. So you guys check them out. Core Medical Group, they love working with veterans because veterans are some of the people with the most need for this. So guys, check it out. Hit me up if you have questions. Willie Peach Chocolate. We're working right now on the hot sauce still. Dude, I have a bottle of the hot sauce at the house.
Do you? I'm into it.
I'm going to have to bring it to you. I'll bring it to you. It's not super hot. It actually has like a smoky flavor to it.
I like it.
It's fucking awesome, dude. I'm going to bring that to you. We're trying to produce this. Until then, Willie Peach Chocolate. Did you get one last? You didn't get one home.
I didn't get one. No, Johnny had one. Johnny had the coffee bar.
Did he like it?
Yeah, he liked it a lot.
That one has Black Rifle coffee in it.
So he liked that one a lot. I love the smell of coffee, but I don't like the taste of coffee.
Yeah, chewing coffee beans sometimes is a little rough.
Yeah. Different.
Yeah, that's a little rough.
Well, see, and I was never like, I never served overseas, so I was one of those dudes that was, shaking dry coffee packets into my mouth and going out in the morning. Take the whole coffee packet, swish it around with a little water, and then you're off.
That's not your thing.
I'm not about that life.
I've done that a few times. Yeah, I've done that a few times, definitely. So Willie Peach Chocolate, you guys check them out on Instagram. He makes chocolate at his house. He makes all different Scoville unit measures. So some that are s'mores have no Scoville units, no spice to them at all. Tastes amazing. And it goes all the way up to something like the Moab, which has, I believe it's Carolina Reapers. Ooh. Dude, I'm telling you, I told Chrissy just put the tip of her tongue on it and it burnt her fucking mouth.
I'm glad we're talking about chocolate there.
Yeah, we're talking and this is chocolate. We're chocolate.
Chocolate bars.
Just lick the tip.
just the tip of your tongue on it, babe.
Please. And it burned her mouth. You guys check it.
Chrissy, I'm sorry. Chrissy, I apologize.
She'll
for
laugh.
That.
She's laughing.
I'm sorry.
She'd laugh and then she'd smack me, right? She'd laugh at you and smack me.
Be like, oh, Banks is funny. You're an asshole.
You're an asshole. You shouldn't have said that.
Why'd you let him say that?
Okay, I didn't say it. You guys check out Willie Peach Chocolate, man. I love them there. Metal Force, the only shakers I use now. I have I asked them to send me the Thin Blue line. Obviously, we know they're having a rough year this year in the law enforcement. It's a tough time. So I'm always trying to support, and anything I do, I have now a Thin Blue line shaker. Got it from Metal Force. You guys check them out on Facebook. Metal Force Fit on IG. MetalForce.com. You guys check out their protein shakers. You can call them and request some what do you call those when you just do your own custom ones? There you go. Hey, and the last but not least, new sponsor is Beyond Clothing. You know who they are? I was telling you, like
we were talking about it outside on the way in.
Yeah, it's kind of I don't even know how to say it. I want to word it right, but I don't. Beyond Clothing is like tactical clothes that's not tactical looking.
It's tactical without being a douche.
Yeah, it's super cool.
It's just practical, regular clothing.
Outdoor clothing that you can see operators use, but it's really an outdoor kind of feel. Mm-hmm. A lot of the guys that are hikers, that are campers, that are fishermen, cold weather gear. They have a motorcycle jacket recently they just put out. Like they have all kinds of cool gear. Check them out. That's Beyond Clothing. If you guys have questions, let me know. I'm going to try and get you guys a discount code for that because it's worth what you're paying for. I'll tell you that much. Check them out. Either way, I'm super excited to get this podcast started because this is a subject that has been all over the internet. What do they call it? Toxic masculinity.
Right.
Jesus.
Like, this all kind of blew up because of the Gillette ad, right? With the shaving ad, and they came out.
I think it's been brewing, but Gillette really just kind of, I think, let it off the top.
Right. I think that was the icing on the cake, where I think a lot of people, and I didn't really have a problem with it. Like with the Nike ad, too. Like, there's a lot of, like, controversial marketing out there. I don't really have a problem with the message behind it.
Yeah, which one was the Nike one? You're talking about Kaepernick
one?
It's an interesting thing. I think some people are overly sensitive and kind of think too far into things.
I think that sensitivity is the same with this toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
There's some people where that's going to strike a chord to.
Right.
And, you might need to check your attitude a little bit.
Right.
I think the real backlash is, and this is where I'm at, like, I don't have a problem with toxic masculinity.
Well, before we get into that, explain the commercial.
So the commercial, it's talking about, like, dads checking their dad privilege, basically. Like it's a bunch of like house dads, and it's got them all lined up with like polo shirts and stuff, and they're standing in front of the barbecues and they're talking about all these manly things and how none of that matters, and that
and there's scenes where men are grabbing women's butts and kind of like this, but very old videos when they're showing that.
Yes.
And as old time, that was kind of something that was considered appropriate at the time, and I think all of us would say that's inappropriate these days.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
But it almost as if they were hinting as we're bad people for this mindset.
So like they insinuate or imply that all men are this way.
Right.
That all, like, the reason that men are the way we are is because we all think or come from this place.
Yeah.
And that's not the case.
No, not at all.
And I think that's where this backlash is coming from, is guys are tired of being told that we're bad just because we're guys.
Well, it's crazy, man. It's because it's crazy to me because, you know, one, how sensitive everyone is to everything these days.
Yeah.
Like this ad alone, here's what I did. I saw it and I was like, okay, boom, I passed it.
Yeah.
I didn't share it. I didn't really think about it. You know, some of the guys on beard.com team were like, oh, we should say something. I'm like, dude, say whatever you want.
Well,
That's
I even
cool.
saw the meme that they put out
Right.
there and
Like,
everything on
and-
beard.com. Yeah.
And I feel that as well. It's like, look, if you're listening to any major company that's using marketing as a tool and saying, and they're telling you how to think, well, you have the choice to think that or not. Every fucking time.
Right.
And,
Well, like-
if some people get offended by that, like, look, this is what they're trying to do.
Gillette put out that ad, but this is also the same company that has like an army of 40 women that goes out to every major race course in the entire country in like spandex latex suits with
Yep.
Gillette written across
Written
the
across their ass, yeah.
of supermodels. Like, take it with a grain of salt. It's all marketing.
They knew what they were going to do.
you know, what do they call it? They call it woke marketing.
Yeah,
you know,
I tell you-
woke corporatism or whatever BS title they want to put on it now.
They want to act, and people want to be like, well, you lost a customer, Gillette. Like, yeah, but you know what? They probably gained 10 more.
Right.
It's the power of marketing, man. They knew what they were doing. Nike knew what they were doing. Everyone who puts out this controversial subjects and does it in a fashion where they honestly didn't come out and say men stop being masculine. They just kind of visually told a story, and they had a message, and everyone got offended. But there is this underlining message that we're seeing all over mainstream media these days, is that there is a thing called toxic masculinity. And that is what bothers me, right? Like, not so much the Gillette ad, but it was like, you motherfucker, you're continuing this idea that is potentially hurting our own kids and feeling guilty for being masculine. Is it a bad thing to be masculine?
It's not a bad thing. We need masculinity. Studies have shown that masculinity is a good thing. Having positive male role models in a home is good. That statistically you're more likely to commit a crime, or you're more likely to be violent, or you're more likely to be that toxic person without a positive masculine influence in your life. But that's the idea behind it. That's not what we're being told. The agenda they're pushing is men are bad and women need to be in charge.
Well,
I think that for just as much toxic masculinity, there is a toxic femininity right now.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what's attacking it. You know, and there's 5% of this ultra militant feminism on one side of the spectrum, and there's 5% of this toxic man that's rebelling super hard against it, and the 80% of the rest of the population is really all gathered into the middle, and we don't relate to any of that bullshit.
Yeah.
And like, we're being screamed at from both sides, like, oh, you're this way, and everybody, oh, you're that way, and I'm like, I'm none of those things. What the hell? I was just trying to, like, shave.
Yeah. or I just don't want to shave.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I have a beard. I live that life. Like, I don't care.
Well,
you know,
dude,
about what a razor company thinks.
No,
especially one that pays Tom Brady a lot of money.
No.
Fuck the Patriots.
He's still good looking. I'm sorry, what?
I'm just jealous because even if he loses, he's going home to Giselle and $100 million.
Yeah. He's a winner no matter what.
Exactly. He may lose a football game, but he still wins at life.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of you, Tom Brady.
And his dad bod still freaking wins
Right?
Super Bowls. You know what I mean?
Right?
I don't know, man. It's a trip to me to think the word masculinity is not negative or positive, right? It's not. It's masculine. It's you know, and for some reason it's getting this negative connotation behind it, right? People are believing the word masculine is negative, and it's not. Like, I don't know where that comes from. If you say the word feminine, that doesn't come off as negative to you. It just comes off as the word itself.
It's all about control, and it's with anything, whether it's the government or whether it's marketing on TV or the internet. It's all about somebody controlling, whether it's your money or whether it's your opinion. So when you look at it, the idea of feminism is incredibly noble.
Yeah.
It's great. It's upstanding. We know, because you and I are both in healthy relationships, that having a strong woman next to you to be a co-parent and a co-partner in life,
Yes.
to make those decisions together. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm blessed enough to be in a relationship like that and to be in a situation where that's my reality. But it is then hijacked by a very vocal minority who don't push the tenets of feminism and people as equals. They want women to be in charge now.
Right.
They want women to be the boss of everything
Right.
now, on no other basis than an anatomical difference.
Well, that's the thing to me. Is like,
so and it's the same way with everything we see.
Right.
Every piece of marketing, if you look at it, it's about controlling you and your opinion and where your money goes, and somebody else being in charge of you and your life.
it's funny. Think of it this way, man. Like, I have no problems with a woman being in charge of me if she's qualified for the job.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and I think I think that should be just like, if I'm going to hire a male or a female, well, I'm going to hire the person who's most qualified for the job. Not whether they're male, not whether they're female. The female doesn't get an extra 5 points. You know what I'm saying? None of that stuff. I just think of it as like, whoever's qualified for that position gets it. And for some reason, it's like there's a small movement of these feminist women that are pushing. They're like, no, women should just get the job ahead of the men, because all these years of men being in charge, we're just trying to make it fair.
We need to, well, men have been in charge for 600 years now. Women need to be in charge for 600
And
years, and that makes it fair.
That doesn't make sense to me.
No, it's not, because it's not about equality.
Right.
It's about control. It's the same way with sexual preference.
Right.
We see the same thing with the race issues. You know, where it's not about treating somebody, as Martin Luther King said, based on the content of their character and not the color of their skin. It's about me having leverage over you for some shit that you never had. Like, nobody in my family ever owned a slave.
Bro, yeah. Right.
Ever. At any point, you know, but because I live in a country where slaves at one point were owned, I'm supposed to feel guilty for something. Like, I get it. I understand collectively, historically, what people went through who are African American.
Right.
I mean, it's a terrible thing, but I'm not, I didn't have anything to do with that.
Right.
I should, I should be guilty for that. Like, when you realize it's not about treating somebody as an equal and it's about an agenda of control.
Right.
Your perspective on,
that's like
the way you hear what's being told to you changes.
That's like me being Hispanic. People are like, "Oh, you're Mexican, go back." I've heard people say, and you're like, "Whoa, bro, that's weird." That's weird to say that.
See, and that's another thing, though.
Right.
Is like, it started out when the immigration argument came to the front. It started out as we need to have a better immigration process and control immigration. Correct. And it changed from that to send all immigrants home.
Right.
Like, where did we lose? I mean, and the president never said send back all the immigrants. He said we need to stop illegal immigration.
Almost every presidency before him knew that was a major issue, and since for years.
I'm talking pre-Clinton.
Yeah,
but every single one of them have been vocal about it, that there is this crisis.
Immigration's an issue
of unchecked illegal immigration,
100%.
and now we have a president that all of a sudden has said something about it. Oh, he hates immigrants. Well, no, he doesn't hate immigrants.
Well, it's crazy because people are like, he's racist. I'm like, man, look at man. I sit there and listen to everything, and does he say things that are kind of ridiculous? Yeah. We all know that.
Like, I wish he had more tact.
Exactly.
I wish he had more couth. I wish he was more polished in what he said.
And there's things that are scary about his decision making process. There is, like with with General Mattis.
Yeah.
But again, like, I'm going to sit here and just kind of watch the show because that's really all I can do right now and kind of see. But I can't say I think he's racist. No, I think he might have had bad tact when the way he mentions Mexicans and this and that. Uh-huh. Also knowing it's not only Mexicans coming through the border.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's
exactly.
It's a lot of different foreign nationals coming through.
But it's the same thing with that issue as it is with everyone, though. People are trying to control popular opinion. They're trying to control thought. People are trying to tell you what they think your opinion should be, rather than tell you the facts and let you form your own opinion. I think that's the curse of the 24-hour news cycle. Yeah, they need controversy. In the the Cronkite days, which historically now we know what Cronkite's opinion was personally. Right, not the most pleasant things as a human being, but you never knew that out of him. You never knew what his political leaning was. Right, he showed up on the news. He told the world the facts. And then we knew enough intelligently as human beings to be able to form our own opinions.
Right.
Now it's about controlling people's opinions.
And that's crazy, dude, because people are so simple to just take everything they hear as facts.
Everything is a soundbite.
It's crazy to me.
Our entire collective thought is reduced down to internet memes.
Yes.
Every fight on Facebook that you see, everybody's like, oh, well, they're throwing out the soundbite. They want a 5-second clip that's a gotcha moment. Everybody wants the punchline. Nobody wants the truth.
Dude, you think about a world where masculinity becomes the enemy and masculinity becomes almost against the law, illegal, right? And then what's going to happen to situations like the other day in where was it, in Africa?
In Kenya. Where
what's going to happen?
The hotel got attacked, right?
If every person in that vicinity is afraid of being masculine, you won't have a guy coming in there smoking 2 dudes, 3 dudes, how many he did, go in there and start rescuing as many people as he can, just because that guy is a freaking trained monster. He's a trained stud. But you wouldn't have that anymore because that kind of thing would be frowned upon. Being good at shooting, being physically fit.
The other side of the argument would be, well, that wouldn't have happened if those people that did the attack weren't masculine.
Those guys, you call those guys masculine?
Those terrorists their toxic masculinity caused that attack. Like, the thing is, the problem with it is there's always another angle.
Yeah.
There's always another excuse, where when you really get to the core of what these problems are, it's just like if we go all the way back to Vietnam, like, there's no way to win a war against people like that.
So do these women want to be married to men that are more like women?
I don't think they know what they want.
Just imagine that, though, bro.
I think that's the problem. Is
like I just think here's me. My father raised me to respect women, to protect women that need to be protected. My mother showed me that women can be strong and not need a man's protection at times as well, and they can be independent. But I was raised with this, knowing this, right? And so I know this about my wife and my kids and my daughters. Why do they wrestle? Because I personally want to make sure that they're strong and fit enough to protect themselves against someone who wants to do harm.
Right.
Someone who's not overly masculine, no, just raised with shit fucking morals from their shit parents.
Right.
Right? There's parenting, I think, is what needs to be adjusted. In everything there is in this world that is wrong, I believe it roots down to bad parenting. You know what I mean? Like, my daughter's like, oh, this or that or whatever, this kid, and I'm like, baby, you have to understand, there's a reason why that kid is that way. It's because their parents, either they're too busy to give a shit about raising that fucking kid, they're not mentoring that kid, or maybe they're not, their situation, you have no idea what they're going through daily.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that all has an effect on a kid as they grow older in the decision-making process of what they do in their life. Like, my daughters will always know in their head, like, a woman can be independent, yes, but in a relationship with a man, whatever sexual they choose, I don't know, right? But with the men is like, there is definitely this balance, and the man is kind of, they know in our household how it is, and I expect they're probably going to think that's normal too in another household when they have their own, is that I am the protector of the household. Shit, I'm fucking 6'1", fucking 250 something pounds. Yes.
Right.
Of course I'm going to be the protector of the household. I'm also the nurturer when I need to be, when my wife isn't there being a nurturer, when she's working on other things. And it's like, there's this crazy balance that I've been able to pull in my house, but it's what my dad and mom did too.
Yeah.
And my dad's not a big man, but he was definitely the fucking protector. You know what I mean?
My dad was always big.
Yeah.
My dad's built just like you.
Yeah.
6+, always 250+, was
Yeah.
a plumber by trade, was, an MP in the Army. My mom's not small. My mom's 5'7", 5'8". I think my mom's 5'8".
It's a good sized woman.
Tall woman, always very strong, but I was blessed to have them as an example. Both of them are very strong physical people.
Yes.
And both of them are very strong-willed as well. And at different points in my childhood, it went back and forth from my mom being the provider financially and my dad being home for us emotionally, and times when my dad was the business owner and provided for the family financially, and mom was home.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter.
Mom? Is that
Mom.
is that how you say it?
Mom,
Yeah. Cool.
mom, my mom.
No, but
my mom is how I say it. Yeah.
Sweet.
So it wasn't always. We always throw out.
Yeah.
People, and this is the problem I have with the toxic masculinity, femininity argument is people always scream about what's fair. I want what's fair. You've been in charge for 500 years and that's not fair. That's gotten us here. Well, guess what? We know life's not fair.
Right.
In a relationship, it's never about what's fair.
Right.
It's a constant adjustment and you do what's necessary.
Yeah.
My wife and I both work. And I'm lucky that I have a schedule that allows me to be home with the kids.
Yeah.
I do most of the cooking. in our family. I'm there emotionally a lot for our kids. My wife works the regular 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
She plays socially what would be a traditionally male role.
Yeah.
Where I'm home emotionally
Yeah.
much more for my kids.
Right.
Does that mean I'm any less the protector?
No.
Or the provider? No, it's never going to be about what's
these titles
fair.
that people try to put.
When you fight this toxic masculinity and this ultra feminism and you pit them against each other, you lose what makes us unique as men and women, or as partners,
Right.
or as co-parents. There are things in every personality and in every relationship that makes you unique and gives you that balance that together makes you stronger than you would be by yourself.
Yeah.
Whether you're in a gay relationship or a straight relationship, there are things in my wife's personality
Yeah.
that make me better.
Yeah.
I would not be who I am and where I am in our relationship wouldn't be without her strengths matching with my strengths.
Right.
I know in your relationship the same way.
Yeah, I have no sense of like patience with homework because I'm really insecure about.
Right.
My kids, half of them read better than me already, right? Because of my dyslexia, and then I'm nervous to look bad in front of them trying to help them with their homework.
Right.
So like we all know, like when mom's home, she's helping with the homework situation, and if they need something to get drawn,
But look, if she's not there and you got to step up,
I do it.
It's not about, oh, I'm not good at this and it's not fair that you made me do this.
Right.
You do what's necessary.
you step up.
We're different for a reason.
Right.
And it's a good reason that we're different. And it's
Yeah.
not just between men and women. It's not just between black and white or Latino or Asian. There are things about each and every single one of us as individuals
Yeah.
that make us special.
Yeah.
And the beauty of life and the beauty of love is when you find somebody who's crazy plays well with your crazy, and you become a stronger, better thing on the other side of it.
Yeah.
So it's not about being toxic in a masculine way or a feminine way. It's not about being fair, or it's not about, getting what's right and what I deserve. It's about doing what's necessary to get not only you, but your partner and your family into a better place in life.
Yep.
And, I learned that from my parents, and I see it now when all of these attacks come. I feel like it's an attack on my family, not on me as a man,
Right.
but I feel like it's an attack on my family because I have a very solid unit. I'm in a very comfortable place, personally and emotionally, with my family.
Yep.
I have a strong relationship. That's my fortress, man.
Yeah.
And those are my troops. That's my backup. That's my space where I can be comfortably 100% me.
Yeah.
And every single time somebody comes in and tries to tell me, you got to believe this, or you're toxic for doing that, or it's a terrible that you treat her this way. Well, I don't make my wife do anything.
Right.
We sit down together and make the best choice for us.
Right. No, dude.
And that's the problem I have with
Right.
this whole toxicity thing is,
yeah,
everybody says, oh, I want what's fair. Well, it's never going to be fair, ever.
Dude, no one's ever going to tell me how to raise my own kids. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like my sons and daughters will always learn how to defend themselves. Always. It's something I was raised to do. It didn't hurt me. I've never used a freaking fist to bully anyone. I've always used it to protect people.
Right.
I was raised that way. I was learned the lesson early on, like don't ever use this skill set to take advantage. I've always fought for to protect myself or protect someone that couldn't do it themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I teach my kids all that too. Like you learn how to defend yourself for a reason, but don't ever let anyone get picked on. Like you're there to protect it. Like that's what we do as a family. We protect the others that don't want to protect themselves or can't.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Bigger picture wise, when I see all this marketing stuff come out and I see all the craziness that we're being told on every forefront, on every issue, people want to tell me what I should think.
Right.
And for me personally, at my core, the very basis of who I am is, we call it liberty. In faith, you call it agency. From the one of the most important things that makes me is that God gave me the ability to choose for myself.
Yeah.
Here on earth, to go through this life experience,
Free will.
and to make my own choices.
Yeah.
That I'm not forced to do anything, and that to God and no one else, I'm accountable for those choices.
Right.
Now that's my moral compass.
Right.
And I go through my life not based on anybody's laws or anybody else's opinion, but that I'm accountable not just to God for what I do, but for how I treat others.
Right.
So on no other basis other than my own liberty, my own free will, my own free agency, that relationship with God is established. And then that reflects to, and again, if we want to go back to scripture, do unto others as you would do, love thy neighbor as thyself,
Right,
all
right.
of there's so many different,
Right.
scripture references from the Bible that we can go to for that. That's how I live my life.
Right.
I'm personally accountable for my decisions. No one else makes my opinion for me. So when somebody else says you're toxic as a man just because you're a man and you have a penis, I'm like, the old bait and tackle's not making my decisions for me.
Yeah, fuck off.
No, I'm accountable for me and for my family.
Right.
Your opinion has no bearing on it. And it's about controlling somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's about controlling their lives because something is missing with that person, whatever it is. And they have to force something onto me.
I do my best to not even allow other people's opinions even affect me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I could have skimmed right past that video and never would have remembered it. But the fact that it pissed off so many people and so many people shared it and so many
Struck a nerve.
Yeah, and so many people had rebuttals and this and that. And it's like, why? Like, on my own social media, I did not comment. I don't give a crap. You know what I mean? You look at my life. You know what I mean? You already know what I do. I train to fight. I shoot guns. I raise kids to freaking defend themselves. Like, you know what I mean? I'm the man of my house, and I can say that my wife is going to say, yep, he is the man of the house, because that is our structure in our household, and that's not a masculine thing. It's just a position that when we first met, we knew this would work for us, because in her household, it was like that, in my household, like that. And this is what's comfortable in how we do our thing. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? That is the core of what we are as a country. You want to live that way? Great, go and live that way. You want to live in this world where you have to be aware of other people's feelings and what they care and not offending anybody? That's great. That's fine. You can be that person.
Yeah.
The second you tell me I can't feel or live a certain way,
right,
you've crossed the line. Live however you want to live.
Yeah.
You want to live with another man or woman? Go ahead. You want to be romantically linked to a 72 Dodge Nova?
Right.
Go ahead. I don't care what you're in love with. That's your business. But the second somebody else says, you can't,
Yep.
I have a problem. But I believe in what I want to believe, and I feel what I want to feel, and I want to live how I want to live. Great. I don't care.
Everyone
Even if
else,
it's something I don't agree with.
Everyone else, mind your own business.
Exactly. Exactly. Who was it that said it? Was it Hamilton that said it or Ben Franklin that said it? If it neither breaks my bones nor picks my pocket, it's none of my business.
Oh, that's great.
Was his quote.
That's great.
And that's how a lot of the founding fathers felt.
Yeah.
Where we live in this space now where my life is everybody else's business.
Yeah.
Guess
Same.
what? My life is not everybody else's business. My life is my business. And if you agree with it and you want to come for a ride and you want to share in that,
follow on.
Bless you. Come along.
Follow on, motherfucker.
If you don't, guess what? There's a million other channels out there that you can follow.
That's how I feel, dude. My
Mind
social
your own
media. My
business.
social media is like, I post my life because some people enjoy it, but if someone wants to question it, I'm like, dog, bounce. Go do something else. This is my page. I do whatever. Like, I haven't smacked my kids, like spanked them in the ass. I haven't spanked them in fucking so long I can't remember. But they all know it's in the pocket just in case. If I need to, I need to go there, I will. And there's people like, I don't agree. It's like, you don't have to agree with how I raise my kids. They all know that if they cross the line in some way, and it's got to be something serious, you know what I mean? But it's there. There's the option. The option is to get spanked in my household. Yes. And people are like, oh, I don't agree on it. Like, you don't have to agree on that, dude.
Exactly.
This is how I raise my kids. You know what I mean? But my kids also know they have respect. They have manners. They fall in line when they need to. You know what I mean? I go to a dinner with 6 kids and never will hear a peep from my kids. They have to
apologize to somebody.
They'll never embarrass me. No,
we talked about this on my radio show the other day.
We'll sit there and have jokes together and laugh as a family, but never at a line. You won't see a mess on the floor from any of my kids, because if there is, we pick it up before we leave. There's a whole different thing, like, and then people are like, man, your kids are so well behaved. Yes, because they were raised in a household with structure and discipline and manners and all these things that you want to call masculine. I feel, no, this isn't masculine. This is me being the father figure to my kids and mentoring good people in society that don't embarrass me, because I would be fucking pissed if they did.
I give so much credit to single parents, men and women, who struggle so hard with trying to teach both sides of that to their kids,
dude,
and don't have the time or the resources to be able to do it because they have to financially provide for those kids.
I lived that, bro.
That's what's so special and unique about being in a healthy relationship, is to be able to have that backup and that partner to teach that.
Yin and yang.
For every single parent that's ever raised a good human being on your own, I'm amazed by you and what you do.
It's a trip, dude, because I was feeling guilty not being a man that knows the feminine side too well. I had daughters who wore basketball shorts and regular athletic shirts. They didn't do their hair often. They did when they did it's in some kind of like braid so they can play sports.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know, they learn how to do their own hair on their own on YouTube because I don't do hair. You know what I mean? Like my oldest one asked me about her period. I'm like, look, I can tell you this, but I don't know how to have this conversation and not feel like I'm doing it the right way. You know? And so I had her call my mom. And so I feel fucking bad. I felt bad for years because I'm like, man, they missed out on my oldest daughter. Just so you know, used to be like the princess of the family, and now she's kind of a tomboy athlete, which is fine, cool. But I almost feel like it was my fault that kind of it converted into that because it's like, let's get dressed. I'm buying jeans off Amazon because I don't fucking know what you know what I mean.
Right.
And so
there's that changes the argument, like the nature versus nurture. You know, are we programmed to be a certain way, or are we developed and taught to be a certain way?
Yeah.
And I think there's a little bit of, there's culture that changes who we are a certain way, and you know, and then some people are just who they are,
right?
You know, and you're not going to change those things about them. You know?
And I'm not sure if it was just naturally or taught.
And she's still young enough that that might be something she grows out of. There's a lot of kids, and especially a lot of young athletes now, that just live that way.
Yeah.
They live in workout clothes.
Yeah.
They live in sneakers. Like even the girls that go to school, you know,
yeah,
they all live that way. But you know, it's kind of like the ugly duckling phase.
Yeah.
You know,
well, dude, I trip out when she gets dressed up. I'm
you know, and then you realize that that's a knockout young woman that all of a sudden she does her makeup and she does her hair and you go, whoa.
I feel bad, dude. 'Cause she went to a dance and she had a dress on, she had makeup on, you know, and Christy.
I remember seeing those pictures
and I'm just
when you
like,
posted them.
What the hell? Who is that girl? Like,
not girl. That's not daddy's baby girl.
No,
that's a young woman.
And I felt bad for all these years because I'm like
you've been hiding and covering it up in some basketball shorts?
Basketball shorts and wrestling gear. You know what I mean?
What a dick.
Oh,
you've been hiding her in a pair of J's and some basketball shorts
my masculinity spilled all over her. Basketball shorts and buns and messy buns.
There is a time and a place for masculinity. We need it. It's healthy. Can it be toxic? Absolutely. I agree that toxic masculinity exists. That misogyny and that sexism, absolutely 100% it exists. Is it a pervasive thing that permeates every part of every male on the planet and every fiber of our society? Hell no. Absolutely not.
There's women that are just as bad on their end.
There is just as much of that toxic femininity and that forced, militant, aggressive femininity as there is a toxic, violent, abusive masculinity.
Yep.
I mean, the pendulum has to swing just as far both ways.
I agree.
You know?
Shit, man, this is a freaking dope podcast.
We talked about some shit.
Yeah, you got to keep coming.
Can I just throw something out real quick? Because I sent you a text message.
Do it all day.
How deep are we in right now? Are we?
We're 37. We're at 37. You're plenty of time.
Okay. So, I mean, I sent you this text message the other night because I was feeling, I was in a weird headspace, man.
Yeah.
I'm already getting into that place right now.
Good, I see you.
Thinking about it.
He's shaking.
Whew, okay, hang on. Let me switch gears here. A year ago, I found out my 5-year-old had an irregular heartbeat. A lot of kids have it. It's not an uncommon thing. Mm-hmm. He had an extra heartbeat. And not like once a minute.
Yeah.
It was once every third or fourth heartbeat. Thump, 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 thump,
yep.
thump, 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 thump. Pretty regularly. Doctor didn't seem too fazed by it. We found it on a routine checkup. He says, yeah, you might want to go check this out. My neighbor is an intensive care NICU doctor. He specializes in pediatrics.
Yeah.
He listened to my kid's heart and said, yep, he's got an irregular heartbeat. You need to get this checked out. I'm not super worried by it, but it's an irregular heartbeat. So I'm thinking, okay, 2 doctors have told me it's not a big deal. We'll sign him up and go see the specialist. It takes us a year to get into the specialist.
Yeah.
2 days ago, we finally went down to the doctor. And we go and we sit in the office and we go through all the tests. This is my 5-year-old. This is my affectionate kid. This is my hugs and kisses kid. I mean, this is my baby.
Yeah.
And he's in there with all the things hooked up to him, and he's plugged in, and they're running all the tests. And the nurse practitioner comes in and says, yeah, it sounds pretty normal, but we need to run some more tests. We want to make sure. Then the specialist comes in and he says, yeah, it's not super concerning, but I want to run some more tests and make sure. And in my heart, I know everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like, I know mentally that it's probably nothing and it's a normal thing. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking there's going to be something wrong with my baby's heart and I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to take that from him. I'm not going to be able to fix it for him. So we go in the other room and they do an echocardiogram. This thing takes 90 minutes to go through.
I've been through it.
And they scan your whole heart. And at the end of it, now keep him, he's 5 and he's been a champion going through all these tests. We're at the doctors for almost 4 hours. And at the end of it, they're trying to get a picture of the top of his heart. So they've got a pillow under his back. He's arched up. He's got his head extended, his chin all the way up to the sky, and they've got the wand. Like if you've ever been pregnant and you've had an ultrasound, it's that same kind of wand. And it's pressing up against his throat like this, and they're trying to force those beams down into the top of his heart. He's choking.
Yeah.
Can't breathe. And I'm trying to be patient, and I mean, he's in tears crying. And part of me wants to punch the technician in the face for hurting my baby boy. He's been patient. He's been a rock star. And you guys are now forcing him to stay here and bear this pain because you want to try and get a better picture. The other side of me says, I need them to get a better picture because I need to know if my baby boy's heart's okay.
Right. We need to know.
And so I'm in this place where now I'm physically tired. I'm emotionally wasted. And my kid has now reached the end of his rope and there's nothing I can do to help him. We get through all of this and the doctor, the specialist looks at it and he comes and he goes, good news, his heart's healthy, everything's fine. It's just an irregular heartbeat. He'll probably grow out of it. It's got just as much to do with him taking a big deep breath and his chest expanding and his blood flow as it does to do the health of his heart. Everything in his heart looks great. Fucking instant relief.
Yeah.
Like instant relief. Thank you, doctor. We can immediately leave. Pack up, we go. The kids get in the car. They're exhausted. They fall asleep in the back seat of the truck. And I have this moment where emotionally, I was done, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I was so spent. I just started crying in the truck in the parking lot of the hospital. And like, you know, I was in a space where like I just needed to cry. And I think as guys, we don't talk about that a whole lot, about emotionally getting in that space.
Yeah.
You know, about being like physically, I've got energy, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Mentally, I'm sharp and I'm switched on. But emotionally, man,
burnt.
There was nothing left in the tank.
Yeah.
I was cooked.
Yeah.
And just cried. From Provo all the way to my house in Salt Lake County in Draper.
Yeah.
Cried the whole way home, dude.
Yep.
Just relieved, just praying, thankful, but just, I mean, I could not for the life of me, ugly cry too.
Yeah.
Not like just tears, ugly cry, bro.
Like Kim Kardashian.
Yeah,
face.
like,
yes.
you know,
I know.
I wasn't vocal like that, but I mean, I was like hand on the steering wheel.
Because you're
like,
still trying to hold it together for the boys.
Exactly.
You know, they're back there and they're
exactly.
like, you know, so you're letting it out, but you're also holding it in as much as you can because you need to get that out.
Like in the office, I had to be there and be the strong guy.
Right.
You know, I had to be daddy. He couldn't see that anything
he sees
was...
fear in your face, you know, he's done.
Exactly. He couldn't see any of that. I had to be strong for him.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a point where I needed to be strong for me.
Yeah.
You know, and I realized how little time I give myself as a man to do that maintenance, to do that self-care,
maintenance,
to take that time to emotionally be okay. Now, I got home and I talked to my wife about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, we talked about the whole thing and you know, I teared up again a little bit.
Just natural shit though, dude.
You know, but it was one of those things where I'm like, you know, guys don't talk about this stuff.
No.
We never address this with each other.
I think your dad is very similar to my dad, where my dad would probably never have cried, and if he did, I never would have saw it.
I think I saw my dad cry like 5 times in my entire life.
Right. And so
Ever.
Right. You know, and I thought it was weird the first time I cried. Like as a man cried.
Uh-huh.
But it was my friend passed away in training. He was killed in training. And the whole day kind of brewed inside me. And it was very similar to kind of that was as the keys on my apartment door are unlocking the door, I started feeling it. And I opened the door and just fell and melted into my house.
Uh-huh.
And just started bawling. And my wife at the time was like, what the heck is wrong with you? You've never seen me like this, but
Right.
I am broken, and I just let it out. And I myself, still to this day, feel that is the day that kind of broke the wall. It broke the seal for me.
Uh-huh.
It was the first time I've accepted, wow, I can cry over things.
That it's okay.
Yeah.
That it's normal.
Right.
That it's healthy.
And from then on, you can't shut this faucet off, dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I have this, it's like that, right? Like, there's something when it has to do with a kid, when it has to do with, if I'm watching a movie that kind of reminds me of my family or the loss of someone in military that kind of brings back some memories, I lose my fucking shit.
Yeah.
I lose it. And it's good for me because it's like, you're still in there, dude. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, and I wanted to talk about this along with this because I think that's part of that toxic masculinity. That, you know, there are men who refuse to let themselves go to that place.
Yeah.
I think most of us now, and especially, and for me, I'm okay with crying. My wife has seen me cry. I'm in this place because I trust her.
Yeah.
Because I trust our relationship. I can cry in front of her.
Yeah.
That we can have those conversations, those hard conversations, and it's okay for me to be emotional. That I can go to that place with her because she's my safe place. That when I don't want to, don't take it this the wrong. When I show that weakness, you know, or what some people would perceive as that weakness,
vulnerability,
the vulnerability is probably a better word. That when I'm vulnerable, she's going to be there to protect me.
Because that's what it is. You a lot of walls have dropped because you have to allow that to happen.
And it doesn't happen without that trust in your relationship.
Right.
You know, and for me, that's the balance in my relationship.
It's powerful, dude.
That's the blessing of us being different as people and finding the right partner in life. That for me, that emotional exhaustion in that moment, and it was healthy to get it out, but to know that I was normal, man. That this wasn't something that guys don't deal with alone. Most guys deal with it alone because a lot of guys aren't willing to talk about it.
I've been there. Belle had to get meniscus surgery on her knee, and when we got the notice from the doctor, not even her in surgery yet, I was bawling. And Chris was like, "You okay?" I was like, "It's hard to know that, you know, my oldest, you know what I mean? This is my baby girl, but my oldest is going to have to go through this." And it kills you as a parent because that's your kid, and you're not there to take the pain away. They're going to have to go through it.
Yeah.
And all you can do is hold their hand and just be like, "I'm there." And I have to act like the tough guy, but I'm the weakest man in the room right now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know?
But the when I sent you that emotional exhaustion text message, like, yo, I want to talk about this. It's because nobody else has talked about. Like, I've never had that conversation with my dad. Yeah, it's not a conversation I've had with maybe but 2 other people in my entire life. Yeah, but I think it's a conversation that we need to have more. You know, and I thought this was a good place to kind of open that conversation.
Because I believe a lot of the people that listen are us.
Especially there's so many guys that listen to this podcast that are, I think, that can relate to us as fathers. I agree. But especially from a veteran standpoint, where some of the shit that you have gone through emotionally that I'll never know or understand. Yeah. You know, that somebody else is crying those same tears. Yeah. And that you're not the only one that's feeling that way. Yeah. That when you get to that place, it's completely normal and it's completely healthy to go to that place. Yeah. Just don't live in that place. Right. Because the flip side of this is when I'm done crying and I stand up and my wife is there and my kids are there, that there's so much more positivity and so much more happiness in that relationship and in that trust and in that world that, you know, it's good. It's a dark place. You have those thoughts. Go to that place because it's healthy to enjoy and feel those things. And I say enjoy. Yeah. You've got to know it's bad so you know how good it is when it's good. Right. You know, so don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to be emotionally open and available. You know, you just don't have to live in that place. Yeah. You know, and be okay going there and then come back in and be in that sunshine again. Yeah. And be a happy, positive person. Yeah. And know that there's other people out there that are willing to talk about it.
Dude, it's an oil change.
You know, exactly. Yes.
It's an oil change.
Get rid of the old darkness, all the old crappy, cruddy, gunked up oil in there. Put some fresh oil in it. That's it. Run smooth again. You know, flush it out, clean it out. Be good. You know, I'm blessed and I'm lucky enough that I have this mouthpiece to be able to, you know, I don't, my joke with my wife is I don't ever fucking need therapy. I do this. Yeah. I go on my morning show here in Salt Lake City every morning and I can talk about whatever's going on. And I can, you know, there's people that call and be like, you know what, you're being an asshole to your wife. You shouldn't treat her that way. It's happened before. Yeah. You know, hey, settle this argument for me. My wife and I were talking about, you know, and the women will call up me like, actually, this is her perspective and she loves you, so she won't tell you this. And you're being a jerky McJerkface. And you go, okay, well, all right, maybe I am being a douche a little bit. Yeah. You know? be okay being emotionally vulnerable that way. It doesn't make you less of a man. It doesn't make you any weaker of a person. And I had that aha moment.
Yeah.
You know, at almost 40 years old now.
It was a dope when you texted me. I'm like, let's do it.
I had that. I know. You're like, yep, I'm in. You know, and I knew that this was going to be a good. You know, it's a little too wordy. To go into in my other forum. Yeah. But I knew we could do it here. And I thought it fit well with that toxic masculinity.
100%.
To, you know, it's not that I'm not masculine. I'm not afraid of that softer, more emotional side either.
And that, who's to say that's not masculine?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. But it's, again, you know, it talks. It's balance and accountability. I am emotionally accountable to myself.
Yes.
And I am okay with that softer, vulnerable side. I think that vulnerability is the perfect word.
Yeah.
That vulnerable side. But I am also completely okay with my strength.
Yes.
And that stoicism that we have as men, you know, and being stone-faced.
Right.
All right.
Hell yes.
Yeah, we talked about some shit.
We're good. We
talked about some shit, bro.
We did it. We went all in. I think the guys listening to this are going to be like, I'm like, damn, that was good. Hey, hope you guys listening enjoyed it. Hope you guys take something from it. Dude, message us. Let us know what's up, man. If you love this podcast, you want more banks, because I want more banks.
And hit me up on Insta too. At Life of Banks if you're on Instagram. And then it's if you're on Facebook, Banks K Bull 93 on Facebook as well. It's all on there. I know, you know, Vinny said that you know, some of you guys had reached out and, you know, think I may have something to contribute to life. So, you know, find me over there and hit me up. You know, I'd love to be able to hear from people from this side of the world, as well as, you know, my other professional, buttoned up, very white collar, serious side, you know.
Love you guys, man. Thanks for listening. See you guys later. Bye.